You click one button. 2 days later, a small box is sitting on your doorstep. That's it. That's the whole experience for you. But behind that one click is one of the most complicated systems humans have ever built. Your package might cross an ocean, switch hands 6 or 7 times, pass through countries you'll never visit, and survive a journey more complicated than most people's actual vacations. So let's follow it, from a factory floor to your front door, and see what it actually takes to move a single object across the entire planet. Most of us think shipping is simple. A company makes something, puts it on a truck, and it shows up. But global trade isn't one journey. It's dozens of separate systems, handing your package off to each other like a relay race, each one completely invisible to you. Let's trace that relay, one leg at a time, and see why the whole system can look effortless for years, and then completely fall apart overnight. Your package almost certainly starts its life far from you, often in a massive factory complex where thousands of similar items are produced every single day. It gets boxed, labeled, and loaded, usually alongside thousands of others, onto a truck headed for a port. And here's the first thing that surprises people. Your one item never travels alone. It's stacked into a standard steel container, the same size everywhere on Earth, packed next to thousands of unrelated products from other companies, all sharing the same box for the ocean crossing. That single design choice, a standardized steel container, is arguably one of the most underrated inventions of the last century. Before it existed, loading a ship took days of manual labor. After it, a crane could move dozens of containers an hour. Global trade got roughly 10 times cheaper almost overnight.
Once your container is loaded, it joins tens of thousands of others on a single cargo ship. Some of these ships are longer than 4 football fields, carrying more value in one trip than some countries' entire yearly exports. And then it just waits. An ocean crossing can take 2 to 6 weeks, depending on the route. Your package is quite literally floating in the middle of nowhere for most of that time, tracked by satellite, completely out of anyone's direct control. When it finally reaches port, it doesn't just roll off. It goes through customs, a system of inspections, paperwork, and taxes that checks whether what's inside is legal to bring into the country, and whether the right fees have been paid. This single step is where an enormous amount of global trade quietly slows down. Because customs rules are different in almost every country, and a single missing form can hold a container for days.
Now, here's something that surprises almost everyone. The shortest part of the entire journey is usually the most expensive part. It's called the last mile, the final short trip from a local warehouse to your actual doorstep. Moving a container across an ocean is incredibly efficient because one ship carries tens of thousands of packages at once. But that final delivery van might carry only a few dozen packages, driving down your specific street for you specifically. Studies on delivery logistics consistently show the last mile can account for over half the total cost of shipping something, even though it's often just a few miles of the entire trip. Companies have tried almost everything to fix this: delivery lockers, drone tests, robots on sidewalks, because whoever solves the last mile cheaply gains a massive advantage. And here's the twist that makes this whole system both brilliant and terrifying. It only works because every single link trusts every other link to show up on time. There's very little slack built in. Modern shipping runs on something called just-in-time logistics, where companies deliberately keep minimal extra inventory sitting around, because storing goods costs money. It's incredibly efficient, right up until it isn't. When one massive container ship got stuck sideways in a narrow canal for less than a week, it blocked a route that carries roughly 10% of all global trade. And the delays rippled outward for months, stalling factories on the other side of the planet that were waiting on parts from ships still stuck in line. A shortage of a single class of computer chip, made in only a handful of factories worldwide, was enough to slow down car production on nearly every continent at once.
The system isn't fragile because it's badly designed. It's fragile because it's so efficient that there's no cushion left anywhere in it. So the next time a package shows up at your door in 2 days, remember what actually happened behind that. A factory, a standardized steel box, a ship the size of a small city, weeks at sea, a customs inspection, and a van driving down your exact street just for you. It's not simple. It's one of the most tightly coordinated systems on Earth, running so smoothly most of the time that we've forgotten how complicated it actually is, until one link breaks and suddenly the whole planet notices. So what do you think? Is a system this efficient but this fragile actually worth it? Tell me below. If this helped it click, subscribe. Every week, Otto breaks down how the world actually works. Next time, what you're really paying for every time you fill up your car with gas. See you then.